shortstop, and the fine fielding Aurelio Rodriguez at third. In the outfield, the veteran Lou Piniella in left. Bobby Brown in center field, and Reggie in right. Rick Cerrone, excellent throwing catcher, who has also put together some outstanding offensive stats this year, and pitcher Tommy John. Tommy first will face Willie Wilson, and here to call the action for you, Al Wist.
All right, Denny, any goosebumps left after that thrilling series of ceremonies before the game? Well, chances are you'll expend them in the game tonight. The Royals and the New York Yankees, with the Royals one game away, one win away from the World Series. Willie Wilson, UL Washington. George Brett at the plate here in inning number 1 against Tommy John. 22-9 on the year, 3.43 ERA. Tommy John, brilliant in playoff series in the past. Swing and a ground ball hit by Rodriguez. There is Dent from the hole. He throws. Got him. One pitch and one away, and it is a ground ball. The calling card of Tommy John, which begins this ball game tonight. The Royals 7-2 winners in game number 1. Gurr, the complete game victory. Game number 2, 3-2 victory. As Dennis Leonard and Quisenberry combining as you watch the first put out of the game by Bucky Dent over to Bob Watson, and UL Washington at the plate with one gone here in the first, hitting .273 with 6 home runs and 53 RBIs in the regular season. In the playoff series, .286 his average, 2 for 7 with an RBI. The pitch is in there for a called strike 1.
That's a good pitch by Tommy John. You've seen both of his effective pitches now. The sinker to Willie Wilson leading the game off, and the good curveball to UL Washington.
Tommy John, 37 years old, 0-1 against the Royals this year as Denny ran down. He, however, in the regular season won 5 of his last 7 games. The one strike pitch on the way. 1-1 to count to UL Washington. Tommy John, his start, though he was the top winner for the Yankees this year, delayed until game number 3, and a couple of reasons coming into play for that as UL Washington stands in. John, the 1-1 pitch, 2-1 to count. First of all, he is much more effective here at Yankee Stadium with the natural turf versus the artificial turf of Royal Stadium. Of course, ground balls, but he serves up most of the time, 20 of them in one game earlier against the White Sox this year. Line drive hit to center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Over to corral the ball in the series of hops is Bobby Brown. So the first hit of the ball game is UL Washington. Slaps a single to center field. Also coming into play, the bad back of Tommy John. John had to leave a game 1 week and 2 days ago early because his back was kicking up and giving him problems. So a couple of left-handed veteran pitchers tonight, each very productive in their major league careers, each troubled this season by back problems. Let's see how they do tonight. A man on with a man out, and George Brett at the plate. .390 with 24 home runs, 118 RBIs as the Royals hitting in their half of the first. Brett with 23 hits in the American League Championship Series in which he's played. UL Washington back over to first base.
If there's one chink in Tommy John's armor, it's right now with a bad move to first base.
There's his strike. 0-1 to count to George Brett.
He doesn't possess the type of move that is conducive to keeping runners close. UL Washington, with good speed at first, may be able to exploit that early in this ballgame.
Yankees set for 2 on the infield. One strike pitch pulled to the right side. There's Randolph down to Dent. Back to first, not in time. George Brett safe on the fielder's choice over at first base as Watson turning to look at first base umpire Bill Haller. 4-6 on the put out of UL Washington down at second as you watch it again.
The key to hitting that Tommy John sinker is patience. A hitter has to go up there hoping to get a ball high in the strike zone, because anything that starts out belt high or below is going to end up below the knees, and you're going to smother it into the ground.
So 2 outs thus far in the first inning, both on ground balls, as Hal McRae getting set to go, hitting .297, 14 home runs, 83 RBIs. He is looking for his first hit in the series. He is 0 for 6. Hal crouching at home plate. George Brett over at first base. Flip over there by Tommy John, and George back in time. Tommy John 2-0 in National League Championship Series play. A 0.40 ERA, so he has been superb. 1-0 the count to Hal McRae. World Series action, 1-1 the record of Tommy John. There's McRae. And the 1-0 pitch on the way. High and away. 2-0 the count. 55 degrees at game time for game number 3 in the American League playoffs. And as we said, it rained heavily beginning at 7:30 East Coast time. Rained for about 15-20 minutes. 2-0 pitch. Hit to right field. Slicing to Reggie Jackson. And that's all for the Royals in the first. At the end of a half inning, the Royals no score with the Yankees coming to bat. Yankee Stadium in New York, the scene of 32 pennant winners, 22 World Championship teams, 57,545 the capacity. It does not appear to be a capacity crowd tonight as you look at Willie Aikens over at first base, Frank White at second base, UL Washington the shortstop for the Royals, George Brett over at third, Willie Wilson in left field, Amos Otis in center field, Clint Hurdle in right. Darrell Porter behind the plate. And on the mound, Paul Splitoff, 14-11, a 4.15 ERA. This is his 35th game of the year, his 34th start of the year. Fastball, curve, slider, his repertoire, and he will be facing Willie Randolph, 294, 7 home runs, 46 RBIs, 99 runs scored. In this series, he is the number 2 hitter, hitting .444. Top man, of course, is Frank White, who has been sizzling at the plate thus far. Splitoff winds and a pitch on the way. In there for a called strike 1. Randolph, a native New Yorker, Canarsie High in Brooklyn. He can do it all. Superb offensive and defensive player for the Yankees. High kick and the pitch from Splitoff. Inside, 1-1 the count. Well, Steve, Paul Splitoff, a veteran pitcher. He has been in this situation before. What's going through his mind right now? What does he have to do?
Well, Paul knows exactly what his job is, and that's to shut down the New York Yankees right from the very beginning. He has the ability to do it, and he feels confident against this ball club.
1-1 pitch, a breaking ball, curveball. It bounces away from Porter. 2-1 to count. Home plate umpire will look at it. That's Larry McCoy. Bill Haller over at first base. Ken Kaiser at second. George Maloney at third. Brinkman is down the right field line, and Palermo mans the left field line tonight in New York. Royals winners of the first 2 games. No team has ever come back from that kind of deficit, and that's the hole the Yankees are in right now. Swinging a ground ball, hit to the left side, fielded by UL. He braces and throws high. Willie tags him, he's out. Jeff Tolmore coming over to protest to first base umpire Bill Haller, and this one most certainly will bear watching again.
Excellent play right here. UL Washington fire in the hole to make the grab. A high throw, and watch Willie Aikens. He makes an outstanding play to go up after the ball and come down and be able to tag away Randolph. Good play.
Well, it's really been satisfying to me to watch Willie Aikens develop. Over the last 4 years, I watched him play when he was down in the minor leagues, and he was way overweight at that time, took off that way, picked up some outstanding coordination. And you saw him move cat-like over at first base that time. 1 gone, Bucky Dent at the plate. Takes the feet out from underneath him, ball 1.
There was a time earlier this season now when Willie Aikens simply would not have gone in the air as high as he did right there and tried to make the same play that he just made. He didn't have that confidence in his knee.
1-0 pitch on the way. In there for a called strike. 1-1 to Bucky Dent. Dent 262 with 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. Dent had a 7-game postseason hitting streak stopped last night. Breaking pitch, ripped down the line, fair, foul ball. As it ricochets off the short wall down the line in left field. Bucky Dent making a bid for an extra base hit, but he just missed by a couple of feet.
If you're going to classify Bucky Dent as any type of hitter that can hit a mistake pitch, it would be the hanging breaking ball, the ball that stays up and out over the plate. If you throw in too many of those, he was going to hit pretty well.
Now Bucky Dent behind in the count now. Boy, made good contact there at last base. Splitoff rocks in motion on the 1-2 pitch on the way. Curveball that bends around the plate. 2-2 the count. Bob Watson on deck. 1 gone for the Yankees. Their half of the first. No score in the game. Just underway here in the first. 3-2 the count on the curveball to Bucky Dent. The Yankees have everything going for them tonight in terms of emotion. You saw the pregame ceremonies. 3-2 pitch, bounding ball, right side, Frank White. He flips over to first base in time. 4-3 on the putout, and 2 gone for the Yanks here in the first. Michael Munson throwing out the first ball, the son of the late Thurman Munson. Robert Merrill with the thrilling rendition of the national anthem. Nobody does it better than that. The Yankees with a big crowd on hand tonight. And as the newspapers in New York have said today, it's do or die for the Yankees. According to the New York Post and the New York Daily News, The Yankees need a miracle. That is the story tonight. The Royals need a win. If they pick that up, they will go to the World Series. Watson at the plate, 307 on the regular season, 13 home runs, 68 RBIs. Pitch from Splittorff. Breaking pitch for a strike. So the calling card early on.
Well, Paul's going about it the way he feels most confident. That's trying to establish the breaking ball pattern.
1 strike pitch in there. 0-2 the count. Reminder, Houston beat Philadelphia in 11. 1-0. Houston leading 2-1 in that series. 2 strike pitch is inside. 1-2 the count to Watson. Watson 375 in the series, 3 for 8. There's a look at Paul Splittorff. Into his motion, 1-2 pitch, breaking pitch that missed. 2-2 the count. Splittorff, although 0-2 against the Yankees during the regular season, you know in postseason play he's been perhaps the most effective Royal pitcher. 2-0, a 2.84 ERA. 2-2 pitch, liner, hit to right field, base hit. Hurdle, have to get there in a hurry. It's kicking away from him. You play the carom on the wall. Going into second base with a stand-up double, Watson. They're seeing some of the ground conditions coming into play. Is that ball really taking off, skipping off the wet turf in right field?
Exactly right, Al. Here's another look at it. A fastball that stayed over the plate. He was trying to go away with it and got it too far on the plate. And this ball normally would hold up in the grass, but since it has rained earlier this evening, it skips. It does not lose as much speed. Clint Hurdle, playing it off the wall, might have been able to cut it off normally, but in this instance had to concede the double to Bob Watson.
So Watson in scoring position over at first base. And Reggie Jackson at the plate. Jackson 341 RBIs, 141 home runs, and 111 RBIs this year. 41-111 for Jackson as he points that bat out toward Paul Splittorff. He waits. First pitch fouled off of Darrell Porter. 1 strike to Reggie Jackson. Jackson has hit safely in 14 of 16 postseason games. Dramatic as always, particularly at home. Jackson 2 for 4 last night. Opening game 0 for 4. 1 strike pitch on the way. Foul tip. 0-2 the count to Jackson. And as we saw in the first 2 games of the series, the pitch away from Reggie Jackson where the Royals have wanted to work him.
Al, especially with the left-hander Paul Splittorff on the mound, they feel now that they can go ahead and throw Reggie Jackson away, especially in Yankee Stadium.
The short porch in right field beckons Jackson. He waits. 2 strike pitch. Pop foul and out of play. And the count remains 0-2.
Wonder if Reggie is feeling the weight of George Steinbrenner's bulk on his broad shoulders right now. They have begun their rift. The feud is on again.
George Steinbrenner blistering some Yankee ears in the locker room after both games, first 2 games of the series. Particularly got on Mike Farrar, the third base coach, after the game last night. 2 outs for the Yankees here in the first. No score in the game. Jackson at the plate. Runner at second base in Watson, and the 2 strike pitch on the way. Foul out of play, and the count remains 0-2. Measurements here at Yankee Stadium are significant and bear repeating. Down the left field line in the corner, it's 312, then juts out precipitously to 387, then 430 in left center field, 417 straightaway center field, 385 in the alley in right center, and then back down again to 310 in the corner in right. Jackson at the plate, twirling that bat. Behind in the count 0-2. Watson at second with 2 outs, no score in the game. 2 strike pitch. He swung on and missed, and tagged by Darrell Porter to complete the strikeout by Paul Splittorff of Reggie Jackson. So that's all for the Yankees here in the first, and at the end of 1 complete, no score. Otis, of course, part of his major league career here in New York City as a member of the New York Mets, then to the Kansas City Royals for Joe Foy. In a dandy of a deal, he takes strike 1.
Now, one thing that Amos Otis always talks about when you talk about New York is he had the dubious distinction of being Steve Carlton's 19th strikeout victim the night he set the National League mark.
Well, at least he had a lot of company that night. Otis steps out momentarily. Back in again. A reminder, kind of chilly tonight in New York. 56 degrees at game time. 1-strike pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball. Hit to Bucky Dent. Gobbles it up. Fires over the first base in the dirt, but dug out by Watson. 6-3 on the putout, and that is the third ground ball out in the first 4 outs of the game for the Royals.
Another look at it, Bucky Dent almost in the perfect position. Does make a low throw when he had a little bit of time, but Bob Watson saves him a little bit and makes an excellent play at first base.
So Watson plays the hop, 1 gone here in the second, and Willie Aikens to the plate. Aikens, 278, 20 home runs, 98 RBIs, but in the series 1 for 7. Has a couple of RBIs, though, for his efforts. 143 his average. I have to feel he loves to hit here in Yankee Stadium. Remember a home run he hit here 2 years ago into the third deck, halfway up when he was a member of the Angels. Takes ball 1. Reggie Jackson said after that one, I wish I could still hit him like that. Of course, he still can. 1-0 pitch on the way, 2-0 to Willie Aikens. Two-0 pitch, a strike. Willie looking down at Gordy McKenzie, Royals third base coach. Jose Martinez, of course, manning the coaching box over at first base. John into the windup and the 2-1 offering. On the edge, 2-2.
Pretty tough. You could get it behind 2-0 and then make 2 perfect pitches on the outside corner.
The master, John on the mound. 2-2 delivery. Line drive, base hit to left field. Kicking away from Piniella, but he backhands and will hold Willie Aikens to a long single. And you can hear the chorus of "Lose" in the background.
That was very similar, Steve, to that 2-run single that Willie had in game 1 of this championship series. A little bit of the inside-out swing and just hitting it to left field.
Yes, it was, Denny. Willie and I talked about it a little bit on the plane ride from Kansas City to New York last night, that he feels very confident going out and getting the pitches and hitting them to left field, and he did just that time.
It's one thing that Aikens had been able to do in his early stay in the major leagues. He's been able to show he can go to the opposite field. And he really has surprising power to the alley in the opposite field. He hit many home runs there. 1-0 pitch on the way to Porter. 2-0 the count from Tommy John. So the Royals with a man on, with a man out here in the second, no score in the game. Inning number 2, game number 3, 1980 playoffs. 2-0 pitch. Got it. 2-1. Tommy John, master of control. Splitting the corner. Again.
That is truly amazing.
Well, Tommy John fighting back against another hitter. 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch. Did not get the call that time, and the count goes to 3-2 to Darrell Porter. Porter in the series 1 for 7, 143. 37-year-old Tommy John. 3-2 pitch on the way. They start the runner. It's line foul down the right field line. Oh, the Royals really made a bid to try and score Willie Aikens that time. They started him early, and then Darrell Porter ripped that pitch just foul down the right field line.
Now, he got all of that pitch, and that is one of the advantages for the game of baseball of having 6 umpires. This ball, as we look at it again, is hit so hard past Bill Haller. You can see him just turning around now, and I think that he may have turned around too late to call that adequately. Fortunately, there's an umpire down the right field line, unfortunate for Darrell Porter.
Well, just like an airplane, backup systems going in the playoffs in terms of umpiring. 1 out, a man on for the Royals. Porter just missing. 3-2 pitch on the way. Will he start it again this time? He hits it foul again as Porter just missing fair territory by a matter of inches down the right field line. Almost the identical spot.
We talked about it last night, Steve. That's the way Darrell Porter has been swinging the bat in batting practice now. He thinks he's got that weight shift down just the way he wants it again.
You're right, Denny. He feels very confident in his timing and his ability to go into the pitch.
Porter at home plate after lining a pair of pitches foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tommy John on the mound. Willie Aikens over at first base. No score in the second. Blown away, ball 4. Darrell Porter with a walk. And the Royals now with runners at first and second here in the second, and Clint Hurdle coming to the plate. Now the Royals with one change in their lineup tonight, and it does involve Clint Hurdle, and John Watson, who played the first 2 games, replaced by Hurdle, in right field. And Hurdle, in previous American League Championship Series, an average of .375, stands in against John. Left-handed to left-hand, a ground ball, hit to Dent. Goes down to second to Randolph for one. Back to first, double play. That ends the Royals half of the second. 6-4-3, and at the end of 1.5, no score. Royals and Yanks scoreless at the end of 1.5 in game number 3 in the 1980 playoffs. As there you look at the Yankee bench, Clyde King has been scouting the Royals second half of the season in the glasses, and Dick Hauser is nervous as a cat right now. His team down by 2 games to the Royals, and there's Jim Fry, and you can see he's in the catbird seat as he is up by a pair of games. Billy Connors right to Jim's left. So both benches, a little bit of contrast there. You saw the pacing Hauser and the resting Jim Fry, and that tells it all. Eric Soderholm, Rick Cerrone, Lou Piniella for the Yanks in their half of the second against Paul Splitoff, who winds, and the first pitch on the way. Breaking pitch, ball 1. Soderholm, 287 in the regular season, 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, 250 in the series, 1 for 4. Swinging a pop-up, curled back, and it will carry out of play. 1-1 to Soderholm. Boy, Eric, a tremendous comeback story. Almost destroyed his knee in a construction accident. He fell in a hole on the construction site, had to rebuild the knee through Nautilus work, and have been able to come back and hit again, play well in the major leagues. Just inside, 2-1 the count. A changed hitter, Steve?
Very much so, Al. Working with Charlie Lau, he's changed not only his
high drive hit deep to left field, but it is curling foul. A changed hitter.
Yes, very much so. He used to be a dead pull hitter. The only pitch that he was really confident about was a fastball from the waist down and on the inside part of the plate. He has become more patient, more of a student of hitting. As we get another look at that pitch.
Waist down, inside part of the plate.
He still likes it.
Don't take it away from him.
No.
2-2 pitch. Blown inside. 3-2 the count. Mel Soderholm giving notice of what he can do. Splitoff now set to go. 3-2. Popped up. Frank White dead in his tracks, now in a couple of steps. He makes the catch on the skin portion of the infield, and 1 gone for the Yanks here in the second. Joe Soderholm pops out to Frank White, and Rick Cerrone out of the plate. Cerrone, 277, 14 home runs, 85 RBIs. Splendid season for him for the Yankees. Cerrone from Newark, New Jersey, graduate of Seton Hall. Born and still makes his home in New Jersey. Splitoff, 14-11 regular season. 11-11 his career against the Yankees. First pitch to Soderholm. Breaking pitch down low, ball 1. I know Royal fans remember well. I do, 1976. Watching that game against the Yankees. Splitoff coming on in relief, long relief. 5 2/3 scoreless relief for the Royals. Big game. 2-0 the count to Cerrone. That in 1977 beat the Yanks as a starter in game number 1, 7-2. In game 5 held a 3-1 lead in 2. Inning number 8. 2-0 delivery. A strike. 2-1 the count to Cerrone. Lou Piniella on deck. 1 gone for the Yankees here in the second. No score in the game. 2-1 pitch. 2-2 the count to Rick Cerrone. Splitoff's 2-2 offering. Curveball got him. That is the second strikeout of the game for Paul Splitoff. He earlier got Reggie Jackson. 2 gone for the Yankees here in the second.
Another look at it, Al. You can see a very, very good pitch in a very good spot. Rick Cerrone not only off balance, but swinging over the top of the pitch.
So, 2 gone here in the second. Lou Piniella stands in. 287, 2 home runs, 27 RBIs. Piniella making his presence felt in game number 1. There's Lou following Cerrone with a back-to-back home run in inning number 2 against Larry Gura. Takes a strike. Piniella also with a superb defensive play, skinning his knee, ripping his uniform early on in that game. Waits at home plate on the 1-strike pitch. 1-1. Royals and the Yankees. No score. We're in the last of the second. You're watching Royals baseball on WDAF TV, Channel 4 in Kansas City. 1-1 pitch to Piniella inside. 2-1 the count.
Al, this particular matchup between Paul Splitoff and Lou Piniella is kind of a cat and mouse game. They know each other very well, having played in Kansas City for a number of years before Lou came to New York.
2-1 pitch. 3-1 to Piniella. What do you think Piniella is thinking on 3-1?
Knowing Paul Splitoff the way that Lou Piniella does, he has to be looking for a pitch in a location. Whether he feels that Paul has enough confidence in his breaking ball to throw it 3-1, we'll find out. But I know he's looking for a specific pitch.
A little flurry of activity behind the Royals dugout. 3-1 delivery, ball 4. So Piniella with a free pass. A man on with 2 gone here in the second. And Aurelio Rodriguez will head to the plate. Rodriguez coming in to fill the bill for the Yankees after Greg Nettles came down with hepatitis. Aurelio, 1 for 4 in this playoff series. Saw action with Detroit in the previous American League Championship Series and went 0 for 16 in that one. Curveball hit on top of it. 1 strike to Rodriguez. Native of Sonora, Mexico, purchased from the San Diego Padres to help out when Nettles came down ill. Gold Glover back in 1976. Playing for the Tigers, only 4 errors in 1978. As you look at Piniella over at first. There's the strike. 0-2 the count. Both teams have had mild threats early on, but have not been able to score thus far. 2-strike pitch. Curveball tapped in front of the mound up the third baseline, fielded by Splitoff. It'll be a tough play, and he won't get it.
Another look at it, you can see Paul Splitoff coming off the mound. One of those in-between plays, you only have 1 chance to get Rodriguez at first base, and you can't do it. Very difficult play to make.
So the Yankees, after 2 are out, start to kick up their heels. They've got Piniella down at second base and Rodriguez over at first. Bobby Brown at the plate. Brown 0 for 6 in the series. Hitting right-handed against the left-hander, Paul Splitoff, who sets high kick and the pitch. Inside, ball 1. Activity kicking up in the bullpen for the Royals next to the monuments. Like Rainey Martin throwing. 1-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball, hit hard to UL. He goes down to Frank White for the force at second base on Rodriguez, and that is all for the Yankees in their half of the second. At the end of 2 complete, no score. It ain't over till it's over, and I'm sure that's what the Yankees are thinking right now as the Royals get set to go in inning number 3. Frank White, Willie Wilson, UL Washington for the Royals. Royals hopeful of wrapping it up tonight. Yankees would like to stay alive. Tommy John on the mound. Breaking pitch for a called strike one. Frank White, he has been marvelous in the first 2 games of this series. 1 strike pitch, 1-1. 714 his average in games 1 and 2. 5 for 7, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. 1-1 pitch on the way. 2-1 to Frank. Tommy John looks calm and collected thus far. Characteristic squint on the mound, looking in. 2-1 delivery is ripped to the glove of Rodriguez. Found it with the black hand. That old glove of Aurelio's comes up with a new trick. Spears the liner of Frank White. 1 gone for the Royals here in the 3rd. So Frank White hits a ball right on the button, but right in the glove. The Adam ball working for the Yankees. Right in the glove of Aurelio Rodriguez. Here's Willie Wilson. 1 strike to Will.
Now, Tommy John throwing more breaking balls early in the ball game than I'm accustomed to seeing him throw.
1 strike pitch high, 1-1.
Tommy says he's still capable of throwing an 89-mile-per-hour fastball, which is very adequate, but he won't showcase it very often.
1-1 pitch. Chopper hit to the left side. Backhanded by Dent. Across the diamond in time.
Here we'll take another look at it. You can see the sinker of Tommy John working, going down and away to Willie Wilson. He beats it in the ground. Bucky Dent over in the hole to make a very good play. He had 1 chance on that ball, and he did it exactly right.
So yet another ground ball served up by Tommy John, as Bucky Dent able to get there in time and flip it across the diamond. The stretch by Bob Watson. That is the 5th ground ball in the first 3 innings served up by Tommy John. 2 gone for the Royals here in the 3rd, and UL Washington now at the plate. UL lined to center field for a base hit his first time up. John serves. 1-0 the count. Tommy John tattooed by the Royals in his only appearance against them this year. Scored something like 8 runs in about 3 innings. 1-0 pitch, 2-0 the count. UL Washington at the plate here in the 3rd. Nobody on, 2 outs, no score in the game. 2-0 delivery, right back up the middle, through the wickets. There's Willie Randolph, places and throws in time. Yeah, it looked like a base hit, but Randolph was able to get there behind second base to spear it and flip over to first, and that's all for the Royals. 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd at the end of 2.5, no score. Last of the 3rd, Yankee Stadium. Randolph at the plate. Leading off takes a curveball. Ball 1. Boy, baseball fortunate tonight, at least in Yankee Stadium. It was raining right before game time. The rain stopped. We've not had a drop since. 1-0 pitch. Hit up the middle. Base hit. Leadoff man on for the Yankees. That's the first time tonight that this has happened for either team. As Willie Randolph scoots it up the middle for a base hit. Randolph over at first base along with Willie Aikens. Leadoff man on for the Yanks. And remember, he's a dangerous customer. 30 stolen bases this year. There you look at Bucky Dent. Grounded out to second his first time up. Split off, peering in for the sign, has it, sets, swings away and fouls it off. 1 strike to Dent. George Brett creeping in over at third base in case the Yankees had any thoughts of having Dent drop. There you see him dropping it down the third baseline. Infield double play depth, Washington and White, and Aikens holding Randolph on over at first base. 1 strike pitch, reaches out, knocked down by Split-off, goes down to second for 1, back to first, double play.
Oh, what a tremendous relay by Frank White. He got it late had the runner bearing in on him and barely even had time to cock the arm and still got a bunch on the throw. Watch this. Had to throw around the runner and still got enough on it to get Bucky Dent.
So a 1-4-3 double play for the Royals. And that erases Willie Randolph and company. Two gone very quickly here in the third. And Bob Watson at the plate. That was a very important double play because, as you can see, with Watson now at the plate, Jackson following him, the power portion of the Yankee lineup now will be faced by Paul Splittorff. But with the bases empty, swung on and missed on a breaking pitch, 1 strike. Watson with a double. His first time up to right field. Seemed to pick up speed as it skipped off the wet turf and then caromed off the wall in right. 1 strike pitch. 1-1 to count. There are veteran left-handers, both Hoosiers on the mound tonight, both from Indiana. Splittorff against Tommy John. 1-1 pitch. Chopper hit over the mound behind second base into center field for a base hit. Well, the importance of the double play accentuated by that single by Watson. And now Reggie Jackson to the plate in the scoreless game here in the third.
There's another look at it. You can see it's a breaking ball and it's up in the strike zone. Exactly where Paul Splittorff didn't want to throw it. Bob Watson, the kind of hitter that he is able to shovel up the middle for a base hit.
Jackson has Watson over at first base. Reggie struck out his first time up. For the Yankee faithful exhorting their home team on. But the Royals have the advantage in games, 2 wins to none. Jackson, 2 for 4 yesterday, takes a strike. Reggie, when he struck out on the first, Steve, got a good pitch to swing at, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He fouled off 2 consecutive 0-2 pitches. And then Paul came almost right down the middle with a good fastball.
1 strike pitch on the way to Jackson. Hit long but foul down the left field line. He's behind on the count 0-2.
Reggie Jackson, a low fastball hitter, and Stevie has started him out, challenging him here with 2 low fastballs.
I think Paul really feels confident going after Reggie Jackson after seeing Larry Gura basically stay with fastballs and hard sliders away.
Hurdle very deep in right. Otis deep in straightaway center field. There you see Watson with, wait a minute now, apparently a balk by Paul Splittorff as Watson going down to second base. And here comes Jim Fry saying, hey, what happened?
Jim asked the question that Paul had not gone into his stretches of yet. He wanted to find out from first base umpire Bill Haller. You can see Paul Splittorff there not really being too receptive or whatever about Bill Haller. He wasn't sure if he did or not, but Bill Haller made the call. Now we're going to look at it. What happens, you see right there, Paul Splittorff began to go into his stretch motion while still on the rubber and then stopped. Once you begin a motion while you're in contact with the rubber, you have to complete it.
Well, let's see if that is a crucial error as the Yankees hitting with 2 outs and now a man in scoring position and Watson over at second base. And you know the dangers. Reggie Jackson becomes even more dangerous with man in scoring position. But he's hitting behind on the count 0-2. Man at second, 2 outs. No score in the game. 2 strike pitch to Jackson. He popped him up, but is drifting over toward the stands. There's George Brett by the photographer's row. He won't get there. It's back in by about 4 rows. Bear in mind that there's that auxiliary photographer's row that cuts out about 4 to 5 feet of the playing field.
There's a look at Reggie's swing. You can see, again, he does not get cheated. A fastball about bell high on the outside part of the plate. Reggie's timing a little bit off, and he fouls it into the stands.
So Jackson alive. Watson over at second base. 2 outs. 2 strike pitch to Jackson. Curveball, he struck him out. Big strikeout to Paul Splittorff, and the Yankees and Jackson gone in the third. At the end of 3, no score.
And the Royals and the Yankees have hung nothing but goose eggs on the board through 3 here at Yankee Stadium. Tommy John with 3 tough customers to face here in the Royals half of the 4th. George Brett, Hal McRae, and Amos Otis. Brett bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. 2 for 8 now in this championship series for George Brett. In 4 of these postseason affairs, George has his average at .365. Breaking pitch from Tommy John, missed down and away. We talked about patience being the key to hitting the Tommy John sinker. George Brett, normally a very patient hitter. Went for that high one and fouled it straight back.
Kenny, I think we might comment right here. I don't believe that George Brett feels that he is being as selective and patient as he would like to be throughout this series into the third game now. He did hit the home run in the first game, but that was on a fastball, and he doesn't feel that he's waiting as well on the curveball as he might.
The 1-1 to him. 2-1 now. Royals had a hit in each of the first 2 innings, retired in order in the third. George Brett out ahead. And the count evens at 2-2. In the air, shallow left center. Out goes Bucky Dent. Lou Piniella coming on and calling. One gone for the Royals in the fourth, and here's Hal McRae. Hal flied to right his first time in. 0 for 7 now in this 1980 championship series. A delayed call from home plate umpire Larry McCoy, but it is in for a strike. Al McRae, 34 years old, veteran of playoff and World Series competition. One and one now.
Hal McRae feels very confident, I believe, hitting at Yankee Stadium. He likes to hit the ball to right center, right field, especially off of sinker ball pitchers such as Tommy John.
.433 average for McRae against the Yankees this season, and he'll improve it right there. Solid single to center by McRae. 1 on and 1 out for the Royals now, and Amos Otis the hitter. A.O. bounced to shortstop his first time up. 3 for 9 now in the playoffs. Larry McCoy going out to inspect the baseball.
Then in this situation, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Hal McRae try to generate a little enthusiasm and a little aggressiveness into the game at this point. It seems as though it's been kind of a dead game so far, dominated by pitching, but Hal McRae feels that he has the ability to rile up the Kansas City Ball Club.
Kind of the sidearm sling over to first base by Tommy John. Amos Otis riled up the Yankees pretty good in the first game of this series. Amos 2 for 4. Scored a couple of runs in the game. Fastball away.
Amos Otis, like Hal McRae, has the ability to drive the ball to right field. A perfect type of pitcher for Amos to try to do that with.
Otis a good wrist hitter. Another throw to first base. Outfield deep and about as straight away as you can get for Amos Otis. Tommy John just starting his motion as Larry McCoy backed off and called time, and TJ just went ahead and lobbed it to the plate.
Amos has a tendency every once in a while to try to play games with the pitcher and back out at the proper moment.
Steve mentioned Tommy John does not have a great move to first, but he has not shown his best one. White towel waving now, the Yankee dugout. Let's see if he'll go for it.
Uh-oh, Rupert Jones sitting there on the bench. It looks like he hurt his shoulder a little bit. I'm sure he'll have a few comments for Amos later on.
Rupert not on the active list, of course, after a collision in center field. Swung right through it. A ball and 2 strikes now to Amos Otis. 1 on and 1 out for the Royals as you see the umbrellas start to go up, popping up like mushrooms in the springtime here in Yankee Stadium. Again, that sidearm sling to first base by Tommy John. Rain coming down steadily. Otis hits it to right field. Reggie Jackson started in, now goes back to make the play. That ball had a lot more carry than it looked like it would when it left the bat, Steve.
The ball seems to jump off Amos Otis's bat. Here you get a shot at Reggie Jackson going back to the track. He didn't get a real good jump on it. I think as we were, Reggie was a little bit fooled by how much the ball would carry.
2 down now for Willie Aikens, who singled to left his first time in. Willie 2 for 8 in the playoffs now with a couple of RBIs. Aikens only 25 years old. He's got a bunch of home runs in front of him. Look at the rain pelt down now on Tommy John. Outside ball 1. Bob Watson getting a handkerchief to wipe the rain off of his glasses.
One of the very difficult things, Dan, you can see Reggie Jackson shading his eyes from the rain. Very difficult if you wear glasses when it begins to have a heavy mist such as this. Darrell Porter on the Royals, a similar problem as does Paul Splittorff.
They're going to need windshield wipers if this keeps up. Pitch from Tommy John just misses again, 2-0. Seems to be coming down harder by the moment. And that's going to do it, I think. Umpires hold up their hands and say, let's get out of here. There is Larry McCoy, the home plate umpire. Well, this comes with 2 men out and 1 Royal on base in the 4th inning of a scoreless game. George Brett flied out to left to begin this inning. Hal McRae singled to center, and Amos Otis flied to right. Willie Aikens at bat now with a 2-0 count on him as the rains force a suspension of play here at Yankee Stadium. The field appears to be in good shape, Steve.
Yes, it does, Danny. I believe that if you take a look at Tommy John, the umpire has made the very correct decision at the right time to get the tarpaulins out on the field, protected from, especially the skin portion of the infield, from getting too wet, too soggy. There are a couple of spots, such as where Tommy John is striding from the rubber out to about 8 feet in front of the rubber, where they've sprinkled some drying substance out there so that neither pitcher will slip on the wet clay.
If Tommy John could retire Willie Aikens and the Royals here in the 4th, it would give him a string of 18 straight scoreless innings in playoff competition. The previous 14 for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League. Willie Aikens hitting with 2 out. Darrell Porter would be next if Willie Aikens could keep it alive. Royals stranded a runner with 1 hit in the 1st inning. A single to center by UL Washington, but Hal McRae flied out to end the inning. Willie Aikens singled back in the 2nd inning, but Clint Hurdle grounded into a double play to end that threat.
Before we get too far along, Danny, one of the WPIX cameramen here in New York would like to pass along his warm regards to his cousin, Blas Torrey, listening in to our broadcast tonight in Kansas City.
You're watching Royals baseball on WDAF TV4 in Kansas City. Here is Willie Aikens, the 25-year-old strongman from Seneca, South Carolina. 6'2", 220 pounds of muscle. Tommy John behind on the count on him, 2-0. It is 9:58 Eastern Time as we resume. A 32-minute rain delay, and just as we get ready to go again, the rains begin again. McRae with a short lead away from first. Lined off the glove of Bob Watson. Willie Randolph retrieves it in shallow right, a base hit for Willie Aikens.
Denny, that ball was a very hard hit line drive by Willie Aikens. Here you see it again. It's a 2-0 fastball, the first pitch after the rain delay. and Willie Aikens gets all of that ball. He hit it right on a line drive. Bob Watson, almost in self-defense, put his glove up. It caromed off Watson's glove. By the time Willie Randolph could retrieve it, we have runners at first and second.
You saw Bob Watson at first there saying, I'm glad I at least had a glove. Darrell Porter, the batter now. Darrell walked his first time up. Was erased on a double play ball by Clint Hurdle. Darrell 1 for 7 in the playoffs. The Royals with a runner in scoring position now. McCray at second. Aikens at first. Good stop by Rick Cerrone. Line scores identical. The Royals no runs, 4 hits, no errors. 0-4-0 for the Yanks.
Very uncharacteristic of Tommy John.
Back live, 2-0 now to Porter.
I think, Denny, that Tommy may be running into a little difficulty now regaining the rhythm that he developed before the rain delay. He has thrown 3 pitches, 1 high and 2 very low, and for him that is not at all good.
In for a strike, 2-1. Darrell Porter always likes to hit in the Yankee Stadium. 5 RBIs in his first appearance here this year. That's rifled down the right field line, just barely foul. The 3rd time tonight that Porter has slammed it down that right field line.
Well, and Darrell has perfect timing for Tommy John right now. As you said, that's the 3rd time he's hit a vicious line drive down the first base line, each foul by only a matter of inches.
He is jumping all over Tommy John. Underwood, the left-hander, throwing now in the Yankee pen. Crowd clanking it up, 2-2. Here it comes. Inside, it appeared to get away from Tommy John, almost as if it slipped right out of the ends of his fingers, Steve.
Well, it was a curveball, and Tommy hung that one way high on inside. It's fortunate, really, if you're going to hang one, make sure it's a bad pitch.
3-2, 2 out. Runners will be going. Hit to left field, right at Lou Piniella. As the chant Lou goes up, that's all for the Royals in their half to 4th. After 3.5, a scoreless ball game at Yankee Stadium. The first man he'll face here in the Yankee half of this scoreless game of the 4th inning is Eric Soderholm. He got Soderholm to pop out to the second baseman his first time in. Earlier this season, though, Soderholm took one deep against Splittorff to right field. Look at the determination on the face of Splittorff. Fastball hit deep to right field. Back goes Hurdle. He's got room. 1 pitch and 1 out in the Yankee 4th. That ball did not seem to carry real well. The air getting a little soggy here in the Big Apple.
You take a look there at the rain falling on Yankee Stadium, and it is going to cut down on the carriage of the ball, especially into the corner right field. The wind seems to swirl in that portion of the stadium and knock the ball down a little bit.
Rick Cerrone, the hitter now. A strikeout victim his first time in. Splittorff has fanned 3 in the game. Reggie Jackson twice, Cerrone once. In too tight. Cerrone, a good fastball hitter. Splittorff got him out with a curveball his first time up. Again, moving him back off the plate, 2-0. Cerrone hitting an even .333 for this playoff series, 3 for 9. Lou Piniella will be next for the Yankees. You could see Darrell Porter calling for the ball low and away.
He did at that time, Danny. Paul Splittorff, after coming inside unsuccessfully 2 times, threw a fastball away, and Rick Cerrone swung through it.
There is Piniella with Yogi Berra behind him. In on the fist, popped up. Darrell Porter coming back toward the screen. Didn't quite have room.
See that guy waving his hand around? Yeah, see, he's got 2 of those flashlights or something with the fuzz head on top. That's a false, that's a wig, cotton candy effect. Is that guy behind home plate at all? Or as we saw in Oakland earlier this year, people jumping up and down. Crazy George had him trying to detract the Royals. Does that enter your concentration and your peripheral vision, or are you intense enough on the mound to be able to block that out and just concentrate on home plate?
Normally, it would bother you if you're not pitching well. It seems when things are going bad, everything bothers you. You get distracted. If your concentration is sharp the way you would like for it to be, nothing outside the playing field bothers you.
Count even on Rick Cerrone, 2-2. Breaking pitch, slam foul. 1 out for the Yankees. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning of a scoreless game. Each team with 4 hits. Again, the 2-2 to Rick Cerrone. Fastball again, line foul.
That's the danger right there, Denny, of trying to pitch inside to a hitter like Rick Cerrone. If you make just an error of a matter of 2 inches, it may be the difference between swinging through it and hitting a ball for a home run.
To center field. Hit solidly, but Amos Otis there.
That is hitting the ball into Death Valley here at Yankee Stadium. 430 feet to that area of the ballpark.
Lou Piniella standing in now with 2 Yankees gone in the 4th, nobody on. Piniella walked his first time up. Lou hit safely in all 5 games of the 77 playoffs. He's hit safely in his last 7 postseason games going into this one. And a good series in 78. 1-0 to the former Kansas City Royal, Lou Piniella. Out away from him. Looking ahead to the Royals' 5th, it'll be Hurdle, Frank White, and then the top of the order with Willie Wilson.
Well, Paul Splittorff just walked off the mound and picked up what looked like an orange that someone had thrown down very close to the mound on the grass of the infield.
Jim Fry, 14 years, a minor league infielder, never played in the majors. Watching Paul Splittorff work 2-0 to Piniella, foul away. Two balls and a strike now to Sweet Lou out of Tampa, Florida, 37 years old. 3-1 now. There's the first-year skipper of the Yankees, Dick Hauser. He took over as their 3rd base coach for the ever-popular Frank Crosetti. On the ground, foul.
Lou possibly a little over anxious on that pitch from Paul Splittorff. Might have swung at ball 4. And there's a picture of Tommy John, you see, waiting to get back out to the mound.
He doesn't look too worked up about the whole thing, does he? Payoff pitch now to Piniella. Fouled again. 3-2 and 2 out in the Yankees' half of the 4th. Splittorff has retired Soderholm and Cerrone on fly balls. You see the rain falling in the background. Curveball to Brett at 3rd. Bobbles and fires. Got him. 3 up and 3 down for the Yankees in the 4th. After 4 full, we're scoreless at Yankee Stadium. Here's Hurdle standing in now. Clint batted .478 against the Yankees this year and was very outspoken in his disappointment about not starting the first 2 games of this series. Tommy John trying to tease him with a breaking pitch to start him off. Ball 1. Missed ball 2. Hurdle was a very consistent hitter for the Royals this year. His average never dropped below .290 after June the 7th. His best month was June when he hit .432. In for a strike, 2-1. Clint homered off Doug Bird on his last trip in here to Yankee Stadium. The 2-1 from Tommy John. Stitched to the outside corner, strike 2. John's control has been magnificent when it's had to be tonight. He struck him out. Then Hurdle caught looking. That's the first strikeout of the game for Tommy John, who has fanned only 54 men now in about 240 innings this season.
There you get another look at it. It's a breaking ball. It looks like a slider. It just does catch the outside corner, and Clint Hurdle was completely off stride.
Frank White standing in. He lined out to third baseman Aurelio Rodriguez his first time up, dropping his playoff average to a cool .625. Only 5 men in playoff history have ever hit 500 or better. Last man to do it was Chris Chambliss in 1976. This one is hit deep to left field. It's going to be gone. Home run, Frank White. Touch 'em all, Frank. The scoreless deadlock is broken as Frank White lights up the scoreboard for the Royals in the 5th.
Oh my, Denny, that is a clutch performance by Frank White, picking up where he left off in the first 2 games of the series, hitting a Tommy John fastball into the left field seats and really giving it a ride. There you see it disappear out into the crowd.
Willie Wilson standing in now, takes ball 1. Frank White has had 11 game-winning RBIs this year, and that one could turn out to be an even dozen if Paul Splittorff can hang on to the lead. As we said, Frank White hit the ball right on the nose his first time up. A line drive speared by Aurelio Rodriguez at third. He got every bit of that Tommy John delivery and lined it into the seats in left. It's 312 into that left field corner. And that one had to be about 320. Hit sharply to right field, another base hit for Willie Wilson. Bobbled momentarily by Reggie, but a quick retrieve and back in. Willie Wilson now 1 for 3, bounced out his first 2 times up and then rifles a shot to right field.
There's another look at it, and Willie Wilson does exactly what you have to do with Tommy John. Hit the ball the other way or where it's pitched. Can't try to pull him.
Interesting fact looking at the scorebook, and of course the Royals in front 1-0 on the home run. In the first 3 innings, 6 ground ball outs served up by Tommy John. 6th to 3rd inning. Every out that has been made on contact has been hit in the air, or there have been base hits, or in the case of Frank White, a home run. And activity now in the bullpen for the Yanks.
Ron Davis, the right-hander, and Tommy Underwood, the left-hander, warming in the Yankee pen. We mentioned that the last guy to hit over 500 in the playoffs was Chris Chambliss, and of course the last hit he got in that '76 series will live in infamy for Royals fans. It decided it. This Frank White blast could end the 1980 playoffs. It has put the Royals in front 1-0, but a lot of baseball to be played here at Yankee Stadium tonight. 1 on, 1 out for the Royals in the 5th, and a toss over to keep Willie Wilson close.
Denny, now Tommy John has to be careful dealing with the Kansas City Royals. As you see the pitch to UL Washington, a swing and a miss. The Royals cannot, as the Yankees can, blow you out with power, but they can blow you out of the ball game with aggressive base running, and you have to keep a close look on everybody.
UL Washington definitely taking a shot at right field there, but Willie Wilson was not running. Washington 1 for 2 in the game, singled in the first, bounced out back in the 3rd. Again, the throw over to keep Willie Wilson close. The hits continue to pile up for Willie Wilson. He had 230 during the regular season, tying the all-time mark for a switch hitter with Pete Rose. 1-1 the count to UL Washington. UL has his playoff average at .333, 3 for 9. Taking a look down at Gordy McKenzie, the third base coach. Might the Royals send a message to the Yankees here and say we're not going to back off our aggressiveness now that we've got the lead? Will they send Willie Wilson? Let's see. 1-1 the count on UL Washington. Missed away. UL staring intently now down at Gordy McKenzie.
You would have to say the count and the situation are in favor of the Royals.
Bounced out in front of the plate. Cerrone has only one play. Slips, fires to first, and got him. Very close play at first.
Oh, goodness. The wet infield almost came into play. Here you see a ball chopped out in front of home plate. Rick Cerrone makes a good break. Out, comes out, picks up the ball, and slips right there on the wet turf. Ooh, very close. Very close.
He was out. Are you? I'm not so sure he was out.
I'm not sure he was. The only thing I'm sure of is that Bill Haller called him out, and
out.
he goes back to the dugout.
Yankee trainer Gene Monahan out now, working on Bob Watson. Appears to be all right. Lacing up the spikes again. So Wilson now has moved into scoring position with 2 down, and George Brett the hitter. George is due. The Yankees have retired him 6 straight times.
What do you think, Steve?
Al, I've got to agree with you. I don't believe he was out either. Part of the intrigue of baseball, the human element.
Yes, sir.
George Brett bounced into a force play his first time up. Flied to left. Back in the 4th. 0 for 2 tonight. Perfect pitch for a strike on the outside edge. George Brett's playoff average 1980 and uncharacteristically low 222 now. One and one. George Brett hit a 2-run triple off Tommy John the last time he faced him this year. Here's the 1-1 delivery. On the ground to Dennett short. Got him. So the Royals are gone in the 5th, but not before. They put one on the scoreboard. A solo homer by Frank White at the end of 4 1/2. Halfway through in Yankee Stadium, the Royals won, the Yanks nothing. 0 for 7 in the playoffs now for Bobby. Big, slow breaking pitch down low. Brett and Akins both playing shallow on the corners now against the speedy Bobby Brown. 1 out, nobody on for the Yanks in the 5th. Hit well in the alley, left center, coming over Willie Wilson. Got plenty of room and makes the play. That ball just died in the heavy air.
Denny, I think that Bobby Brown hit that ball a little bit down toward the trademark. Here it is again. It's a fastball inside, and it even though he did have a full swing, I think he got the ball on not the real good part of the bat.
Willie Wilson gazing up into the raindrops and making the play. 2 outs now, and leadoff man Willie Randolph up. 1 for 2 on the night. Starts him out with a curveball and just misses. Randolph bounced out to short and singled to center. Another curveball, ball 2. Randolph 5 for 11 in the playoffs now. Fastball missed the inside edge, 3-0. That man, Willie Randolph, was acquired in one of the best trades the Yankees ever made. Willie Randolph, Doc Ellis, and Ken Brett for Doc Medich. Strike right down the pipe. Doc Ellis went on to post some big victories in a Yankee uniform. Little chin music, ball 4. That is the second walk issued by Splittorff tonight He gave Piniella a free pass in the second and now walks Willie Randolph here in the fifth. Bucky Dent, the batter. Intensity in the face of Bucky Dent. A called strike. Bucky didn't like it. Right at the knees. Dent likes to get the ball up. That's Rennie Martin working, along with left-hander Ken Brett for the Royals in the pen. Randolph leading away from first. Slow breaking pitch to Dent to center field. Back goes Otis. He's there. So the Yankees strand one after the walk to Randolph in the fifth. After 5 full, Royals 1, New York 0. We've completed 5 now in New York City. It's Kansas City 1 run on 6 hits and no errors. The Yankees no runs, 4 hits and no errors. The only run of this game scoring on a solo homer by Frank White, who has had a sensational series. Frank 6 for 9 now in the 1980 playoffs. He lined one into the left field seats in the Royals half of the 5th inning. Paul Swidorf has blanked the Yankees on but 4 hits. Hal McRae leading off the Royals half of the 6th now. Hal 1 for 2 on the night, fly to right and singled to center. The Yankee pattern throughout this playoff series has been to pitch McRae away. Let's see what they do here. Hal swung right through the breaking pitch. That familiar crouch by Hal McRae. In too tight.
Tommy John doing something to Hal McRae that he normally does not do to a right-hander, that being throw 2 breaking balls in a row for the first 2 pitches.
On the ground, Dent. 1 away. Amos Otis, the batter now. Hitless in 2 trips, grounded out and flied out. Amos always takes his time getting comfortable in the box, and the pitch from John. Didn't get it. Knocking the mud out of the spikes now. He had a rain delay earlier of more than half an hour. Way outside. A ball and a strike to Amos Otis. 1 Royal down here in the 6th inning. Nobody on. Willie Aikens will hit next. John gets the sign he wants from Rick Cerone and works to Otis. Bunted back over the head of Cerone. He made a gallant effort but couldn't get to it.
Amos that time doing a little bit of guesswork too, looking, I believe, for the breaking ball to bunt. Amos feels, here we get another look at it. You'll see it's a fastball and it's up in the strike zone, a very difficult pitch to bunt. And Amos pops it back behind Rick Cerone. If he gets a breaking ball, that's a perfect pitch to try to lay a bunt down.
There's the excellent defensive backstop of the Yankees, Rick Cerone. Tommy John behind. Or rather ahead on the count to Otis here. A ball and 2 strikes. He makes John wait now. And it's Cerone going out to settle down Tommy John.
Some of the games that people play.
Mind games.
Yes.
The 1-2 again to Otis. Good pitch, strike 3. Amos Otis called out looking, and he's still arguing.
Now here's another look at it. It's a fastball inside, and I've got to believe Amos Otis thought that ball was off the plate inside. He began to turn into the pitch or back away from it a little bit, and I think the pitch just had him fooled.
Only the second strikeout of the night for Tommy John. Two outs now for Willie Aikens. Willie 2 for 2 on the night. Single to left back in the second. Single to right in the fourth. Willie has certainly proven in this series that he can hit left-handed pitching. His playoff average at .333, 3 for 9. Fouled away. Down went Willie.
There's another look at it. This is a breaking ball away from Willie, and he is right on it. Look at that cut. That's something for the big, likable guy from South Carolina.
See how the spike slid right out from under him, though. The dirt very soggy around home plate. One now. A ball and a strike to Willie Aikens. The Royals lead 1-0. 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th inning. Curveball on the inside edge. Good pitch to Aikens. 1-2. Another curveball just missed, and Tommy John came off the mound as if to say, what do I have to do to get a third strike? 2-2. On the ground, Randolph gloves it with a dive. Pulled him off the bag. That'll be a base hit. Good stop by Willie Randolph, but couldn't really set himself.
Here's another look at it. Willie Randolph going far to his left, knocking the ball down into his glove, sliding on the wet turf, trying to get to his feet, and he had plenty of time to make a good throw. Willie Aikens, of course, not very fleet of foot. He pulled Bob Watson off the bag. By the time Watson turned around, he could not make the tag on Willie Aikens.
A third straight hit by Willie Aikens tonight gives the Royals life here in the 6th inning. 1 on, 2 out for Darrell Porter. Darrell walked his first time up, flied to left back in the 4th. This time Tommy John making sure that Porter doesn't take him deep down that right field line, pitching him way outside. It'll be Louis Tiant against Rich Gale tomorrow, if tomorrow comes for the New York Yankees. Way outside and by Rick Cerrone, a wild pitch. Down to second, Willie Aikens.
One of the interesting things, Danny, about Yankee Stadium we might mention, along with the outfield being kind of peculiar in spots and very spacious, the area behind home plate, there is about 70 feet from home plate back to the seats, and a lot of times a ball getting by the catcher, if you have a speedy runner on base, he might be able to get 2 bases.
Yankee trainer out now to help Tommy John with the muddy spikes. 2-0 the count on Darrell Porter. Definitely a wild pitch. Cerrone did well to just barely touch it. 7 hits for the Royals now, 1 run. The Yankees scoreless on 4 hits off Paul Splittorff so far. You can bet if Darrell Porter gets a pitch he likes right here, he'll be spinning like a top. High in the air, shallow left field. Piniella plays it, and that's all for the Royals in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 5 1/2, Royals 1, Yankees nothing. Yankee Stadium trying to urge their beloved Bombers on here. But the Yanks so far have managed only 4 hits and no runs off Paul Splittorff. Splittorff, 6 straight times a loser to the Yankees in the regular season, but they've never beaten him in the playoffs. Bob Watson takes ball 1 down low. Watson with his work cut out for him here in the 6th. He'll have to, Splittorff rather, must face Bob Watson, Reggie Jackson, and Eric Soderholm. Fouled away. 1-1 now to the Bull, Bob Watson.
Coming down to the nitty-gritty of this game, and activity in the bullpen, added activity in addition to Martin Quisenberry now throwing, Denny.
The fireman of the year heating up for the Royals. Too far inside, 2-1 now to Watson. Two and 2 now. Bob Watson was a hot hitter at the tail end of the season for the Yankees. Had a big September. Hit a grand slam to give him a win over Boston at Fenway Park. Here's a 2-2 pitch to him. Line, Frank White dives and catches it. A right stop by Frank White. Sensational play by the Gold Glover at second base.
Oh my, Dave, let's look at this again. This is probably one of the best catches you'll ever see. A high fastball. Bob Watson drills it. Now watch Frank White get up. Look at that leap. Some kind of play.
Royals win this one in 3 games. There is your MVP right there.
The 5'11" Frank White, who can dunk a basketball from a standing start, showed you his leaping ability there, and Reggie Jackson standing in now with 1 out in the Yankee half of the 6th frame. This has been one to remember. Can the Royals take it in 3? Off the fist, fouled back by Jackson.
I get the impression, Denny, that Reggie Jackson is all tied up by no matter what Paul Splittorff throws him. He swung through a fastball down the middle. He's taken a fastball down the middle. He struck out on a slow curve. He's seen a variety of pitches in basically the same location, and really doesn't know what to expect now.
Reggie fanned in the 1st, fanned in the 3rd, standing in now 0-2. Line foul.
This is the 3rd straight time now that Reggie Jackson has been behind in the count, 0-2 to Paul Splittorff. The first 2 resulted in strikeouts.
Reggie Jackson, a hot hitter coming into these playoffs, but has been cooled by Royals pitching. Reggie had hit safely in his last 13 games of the regular season to get his average up to an even 300. He's now 2 for 10 in the playoffs. The 0-2 pitch to him from Splittorff. Line to left, base hit. Could be extra bases. Into the corner goes Willie Wilson. Reggie Jackson into second, standing up for the double.
Well, a man of Reggie Jackson's ability will not be kept down all the time. There's a fastball that Paul Splittorff throws basically down the middle, up a little bit more than he would have liked for it to be. Reggie Jackson goes with that pitch and hits it down the left field line into the corner. You can see him rounding first, going and standing up with a double.
And to the mound now comes James Gottfried Fry, the first-year skipper of the Kansas City Royals. Splittorff has had the back trouble late in the season. In his last regular season start, he pitched very, very well. October the 5th, the last game of the season against Minnesota, gave up only 1 hit in 5 innings of work, and he's done in this one.
Well, Quisenberry is on right now, and the Royals are hopeful that he will be able to finish the American League playoffs tonight. He most certainly has been one of the big differences between the Royals of last year and the Royals of this year. And if you had to pick and narrow down to 2 or 3 factors which brought the Royals the Western Division Championship by a wide margin this year, most certainly Quisenberry would be one of them. There you look at a pinch hitter going to come up for the New York Yankees. That's Oscar Gamble. And bear in mind, they have a bench full of left-handers. They have Mercer, they have Gamble, Spencer, Oates, Nettles, and LaFay. And no doubt, as it is do or die for the New York Yankees, they will unload that bench in the last few innings.
A classic confrontation coming up here. Oscar Gamble, a low ball hitter, against Dan Quisenberry, a low ball pitcher. Reggie Jackson on at second base after the opposite field double. One out here in the Yankee half of the sixth. That out coming on a sensational leaping grab of a line drive by Bob Watson. Frank White made the play at second base in spectacular fashion.
Denny the line on Paul Splittorff now, 5 1/3 innings, surrendering 5 hits. He is responsible for Reggie Jackson at second base. He walked 2 and struck out 3.
It was Gamble who got under a pitch which was up in the strike zone from Quisenberry. Wants to keep that ball low, and he just barely missed that one and popped it up. So the rematch right now, one night later.
I was kidding with Quiz before the ball game today. I told him he broke out his riser against Oscar Gamble. Usually a sinker ball pitcher. He threw one in on the hands of Oscar Gamble, and he chuckled and said, yeah, that's what I did.
A 30-year-old veteran, Oscar Gamble, hitting against young Dan Quisenberry on the mound for the Royals. One to nothing, Kansas City leading. We're in the bottom half of the sixth inning at Yankee Stadium. Ken Kaiser moving out of the vision there of Oscar Gamble, wanting to make sure everybody has a clear view of what's happening here. Oscar Gamble steps out. Quisenberry proved to have nerves of steel as this season unfolded. He'll need them here. Foul into the photographer's box, back at first.
Denny, that's something you don't normally see Dan Quisenberry do either. He threw Oscar Gamble a slider on the first pitch.
We made note of it last night. Dan Quisenberry has entered 42 games with the Royals leading this year and won all but 2 of them. If he could make it 43, it would be the biggest save of all. The 0-1 to Gamble. Just barely got a piece of it off the glove of Darrell Porter and back to the screen. The Royals won game 1, 7-2. They made it 2 straight with a 3-2 victory last night. These 2 teams traveled through the night. Got to bed around 5:30 this morning here in New York. The adrenaline flowing though now. No balls, 2 strikes to Oscar Gamble. Reggie Jackson at second. 1 out for the Yankees in the 6th. Ball 1. A real white knuckler, if ever there was one, here at Yankee Stadium. On the ground, can White get to it? He gloves it and throws over George Brett. Now Brett retrieving the ball. Sliding in to tie the game, Reggie Jackson. Frank White had saved the run by grabbing the ball, but then made an errant throw over third.
Oh, a colossal error, and it's a shame that Frank, who's performed so brilliantly in this game, should do this. It's just an almost inexcusable mistake.
The first time in playoffs that Frank White has made an error, and he made a brilliant play to get to the ball, but then fouling up what was a brilliant play with an errant throw over George Brett's head. There you see Reggie Jackson sliding it home. The ball caroming off the photographer's booth after it got by George Brett. Brett on his way over to try and retrieve it, knocked it into the dugout, giving Oscar Gamble not only second base, but third base.
Scored a base hit for Oscar Gamble. Reggie Jackson then scores on the error by Frank White. As Steve Busby said, it's White's first playoff error ever. There's Dick Hauser in the Yankee dugout. His calm demeanor didn't show it, but he's got to be as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. We're all tied at a run apiece. 1 run on 7 hits for the Royals now, a run on 6 for the Yankees. Gamble at third. In too tight. 1-0 the count to Rick Cerrone. Hitless in 2 trips, struck out in the second. Fly to center, back in the 4th. Only 1 out. The infield in at the corners. Halfway at short and second. On the ground foul. There is Jim Fry. How quickly the tide can turn. Hauser with his brain trust behind him. 1-1 the count to Cerrone. Line to left, that puts the Yankees in front. Cut off by Wilson. He'll hold Cerrone to an RBI single. 3 consecutive hits for the Yankees in the 6th have put the Bronx Bombers on top 2-1.
Another shot of it, you see Oscar Gamble there scoring on the single by Rick Cerrone. It was a sinker ball that Dan Quisenberry got up in the strike zone. Rick Cerrone, a high fastball hitter, and he drilled it into left center field.
Now here is a professor in the science of hitting, Lou Piniella. Cerrone at first, 1 out. The Yankees have scored twice to go ahead. Chopper up the middle, glove by White. He gets Piniella at first, but Cerrone advances into scoring position at second.
Good play that time by Frank White. Very difficult play, going away from first base. Here you see it, it's a high chopper by Lou Piniella. Frank crosses in front of second base and throws back to first, going away from the bag.
Incredible play. And again, you have to repeat, you hope that error by Frank White doesn't tarnish the brilliant performance that he has had in this playoff series.
Another pinch hitter for the Yankees. Aurelio Rodriguez is set down for Greg Nettles. Nettles, who hit the inside the park home run for the Yankees last night. It was his only hit in 4 trips up. He'll hit here with 2 outs in the Yankees 6th, and Cerrone at second base. Greg Nettles has been here before. He's played in a bunch of these things.
Yes, Greg Nettles has been. He's a very experienced veteran, experienced in playoff games as well as the season series and World Series.
Greg hit 2 home runs in Game 3 of the '76 playoffs, but the Yankees lost that game. Will it be an omen? Inside. One 1-0 to Nettles. Paul Splittorff from the Royals took a 1-0 lead into the 6th. Now it's 2-1 Yankees. Splittorff is gone. Quisenberry on in relief. Out ahead of it, Nettles, strike 1. Clint Hurdle really pulling Nettles, playing him to pull in right field, giving him very little room in the corner. Akins gloves it. The flip to Quisenberry, and that ends it. You're watching Royals baseball on WDAF TV, Channel 4 in Kansas City. Greg Nettles taking over defensively at third base for the Yankees now. Only twice this season did the New York Yankees lose a game after taking a lead into the 7th inning. They lead 2-1 as we go to the 7th here, and here's Al.
All right, Denny, pins and needles in the latter stages of this game between the Yankees and the Royals. Game number 3, American League playoffs. The Royals with misfortune striking in inning number 6, and they saw a lead of 1-0 evaporate and turn into a 1-run advantage for the New York Yankees. But it's still a paper-thin lead, and the Royals would like to get back in front. They'll start it off with a pinch hitter, John Wathan, coming in to hit for Clint Hurdle. He'll be followed by Frank White, and then the top of the order in Willie Wilson. Tommy John remaining on the mound for the New York Yankees. You have to hand it to Splitoff. He pitched very, very well in the 5 1/3 innings that he went, allowing 1 run. It was scored earned. 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. John Wathan now at home plate. Wathan looking for still his first base hit in the playoffs. Wathan waiting on the first offering from Tommy John. Breaking pitch low and inside, ball 1. John in yesterday's game 0 for 3. Swinging a bounding ball, hit the left side, glove by Dent across the diamond in time. 6-3 in the put out of John Wathan. And that'll bring up Frank White. Frank White, the difference in the game, well, that home run earlier.
Well, there you see the replay of the ground ball to Bucky Dent, coming up with the ball and making a perfect throw to first base. Another ground ball out, surrendered by Tommy John.
That's 10 of them now for Tommy John. He'd slackened for a while. All the balls hit in the air, and then, of course, culminated with the home run. But about a hitter after that, settled down again, and since that time, he has picked up 4 more ground ball outs. So Tommy John might be finding a second win, and if that's the case, it's bad news for the Royals. John with a 1-run lead, 2-1 here in the 7th. The pitch to White. Breaking pitch, a strike. Frank White tonight is lined out to third and homered. White in the series, 6 hits in 9 at bats, 666 the average. 3 RBIs, a home run. John kicking at the rubber. We've had rain sporadically throughout the game tonight. Game number 3, 1980 American League playoffs. 1 strike pitch. 0-2 the count to White. One thing Frank is going to have to, hopefully he's done it already, is get that air out of his mind so he can concentrate the balance of this game. White behind in the count to John, 0-2, who kicks in the 2-strike pitch. Foul. That'll go into the Royals dugout, and the count remains 0-2.
It's very easy, Al, to be a little bit overly aggressive after you've made an error defensively and try to make up with your offense for the defensive miscue. A lot of times when you attempt to do that, you're defeating yourself.
You think about one mistake, you make another mistake. You just can't do it. 1 out here in the 7th. 2-1, New York. 2-strike pitches fouled off again, and the count remains 0-2. Well, there's Tommy John. Carried a 0.40 ERA in playoff action. Of course, 2 wins in the National League playoffs for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Touched up for 1 run tonight by this man. Home run, Frank White. Powered into the seats in the left field corner. Behind in the count 0-2 with 1 out. 2-strike pitch. Curveball that missed. 1-2. The Royals with 3 innings to try and tie the ball game. Rip foul. Caroming off the tarp roll and up into that section of seats, jetting out toward the foul line in left field. 1-2. The Yankees getting a tremendous break the last half inning, and they are in front 2-1. 1-2 pitch. Bounce foul behind home plate. 1-2. Double by Jackson. Single by Gamble on the infield. The throwing error by White, allowing Jackson to score to tie the game. Then Cerrone single to put the Yankees in front 2-1. Royals leading in games. 2 victories to none. 1 more win brings them a World Series berth. 1-2 pitch to White. Bounce foul again. So Frank fouling off pitch after pitch, staying in there. John has allowed hits in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. 1-2 delivery. 2-2. There you see the Goose in the bullpen beyond the monuments. 2-2 pitch to White. Curveball fouled off.
And you have to have the feeling that the New York Yankees will bring in Rich Gossage at the first sign of trouble with Tommy John.
If we go one more game, there's the man who'll pitch for the New York Yankees, Luis Tiant. And it'll be Rich Gale for the Royals. Now the 11th hour. 11:05 East Coast time. Royals and Yankees. John Wines, 2-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Here's another look at it. Here's a sinker down, and the ball is actually out of the strike zone. That ball by Tommy John, though, moves so much, very difficult to lay off that pitch.
2 gone for the Royals in their half of the 7th. Due to the length of tonight's game, Action 4 News, normally scheduled at this time, will be seen at the conclusion of the ball game, so stay tuned for news immediately following tonight's game. Willie Wilson at the plate, 1 for 3 tonight. John Wines in the pitch to Will. Ball 1. Now the Royals to the top of their order here in the 7th with 2 gone. 1-0 delivery. Loop down the line in right field. Could be trouble. Jackson goes over that way. It's a fair ball and off the wall. And here goes Willie Wilson. Wilson hangs on over at second base.
A good play by Reggie Jackson to hold Willie Wilson to a double on that play. If you don't play the carom exactly right, it's a stand-up triple for Willie Wilson.
Oh, and noticeable by its absence, crowd noise on that last drive off the bat of Willie Wilson. Of course, that corner is very close to home plate. Willie bouncing it in the corner, and Jackson getting on the ball in a hurry. And now here comes the Yankee skipper, Dick Hauser, out, and he might be making a move here. Hauser going out to tie, and he's going to make it. He is going to go to Gossage. So we're going to see the top 2 relief pitchers in Major League Baseball going head-to-head in this game in the last several innings. Rich Gossage will come on. Dan Quisenberry came on a half inning ago.
Goose Gossage, a big guy with a big arm, 6'2", 217-pounder. 6-2 his record this year, 2.27 the ERA, 33 saves. But was he something down the stretch, Steve? He didn't allow an earned run in 18 straight games. In one stretch of August and September, retired 28 straight hitters in one stretch. This guy just comes in and dares you to hit his heat.
Well, very much like Dan Quisenberry, garnering the same number of saves. The hitter knows what to expect from Rich Gossage, a good fastball. And Rich stands out there and says, all right, here it comes. Let's see what you can do with it.
Willie Wilson at second base after a double into the right field corner. The 7th inning started harmlessly enough for the Royals. Tommy John got John Wathan to bounce out to the shortstop in a pinch hitting role. Frank White then struck out after a long battle with Tommy John. Frank fouled off several pitches and finally went down swinging. Willie Wilson kept the 7th inning alive for Kansas City with the opposite field double into the right field corner. And now the Goose is on to try to put out this Royal rally.
So Gossage taking his warm-up tosses prior to facing UL Washington. UL, of course, will turn around and hit left-handed against the right-hander Gossage, and bear in mind he loses about 50 points in average when he hits left-handed. Gossage this year, 6-2, a 2.27 ERA. Gossage with 33 saves like Quisenberry. He was spectacular from June 13th to September 28th, 25 saves, 25 opportunities for saves. 33 saves all told on the year. Gossage says the hitters have 2 strikes on them before they come to the batter's box. That's how much confidence he has. Canned heat on the mound right now. The blazing arm of Gossage. UL Washington at the plate trying to make contact. Tying run potentially at second base. First pitch, ball 1. They appeal and they say no way he came close to swinging. 1-0 the count to UL Washington. Boy, you can see the marked contrast between the velocity of Gossage and the deliveries of John right away. There you see Jackson very shallow in right field along with the rest of the Yankee outfield. The infield is back trying to cut anything off. 2 outs. The pitch in for a strike. 1-1 the count to UL Washington. Yankees would like to try and cut the tying run down at the plate. If it's hit to the outfield, they want to try and choke off anything on the infield. Keep it in there. Great speed over at second base in Willie Wilson. Time call as UL Washington steps out.
Yankee pitching coach Stan Williams will tell you that Gossage usually has his best stuff after pitching in short relief 2 or 3 days in succession. This is the first we've seen him in game conditions here in the playoffs in 1980.
2-1 Yankees here in the 7th. The pitch misses. 2-1 the count to UL Washington. Royals leading in the game after the home run in the 5th inning by Frank White. Yankees going in front on a double, a couple of singles, and an error. That happened in the 6th. 2 outs. Washington at the plate. Wilson over at second base. 2-1 pitch. Inside with a slider. 3-1 the count.
Well, that is what you would commonly call, if you were a player, canned heat. He throws that ball awfully hard.
UL Washington at the plate. Picture of concentration, reading signs from Gordy McKenzie. Wilson over at second base with 2 outs. 3-1 pitch on the way, a strike. Take it. We're to the end of the string now. 7th inning. 2 outs. Wilson at second. George Brett on deck. UL Washington at the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Washington ready to go, then steps out. Gossage on the mound, just peering in. Stone still. He just wants to throw the ball. 3-2 pitch on the way. Bounding ball over the mound. Back of second base. Tough play for Randolph. Safe! UL Washington with a blazing speed paying off, racing up the first base line and safe. And the Royals have runners at the corners. The tying run potentially over at third base. The lead run potentially at first with George Brett coming to the plate.
There's another look at it, Al. The chopper hit off the hands. Willie Randolph makes a great play to even make it that close. UL Washington speeding down the line for an infield single.
Oh, here's the game on the line right now in the 7th inning. As George Brett, 390 on the season, but 0 for 3 tonight. Brett facing the right-hander Gossage in the 7th inning of the 3rd game of the American League playoffs. Tying run for the Royals over at third base in the person of Willie Wilson. Lead run potentially over at first base in UL Washington. Outfield deep at every position now with George Brett at the plate. Set by Gossage, a high drive hit deep to right field. It is gone! 3-run home run by George Brett into the 3rd tier of Yankee Stadium, and Brett has taken the Royals and put them in front. Put them in front here in the 7th inning. The Royals now lead it 4-2, and a stunned crowd here at Yankee Stadium in New York as Brett being patted on the back by Gordy McKenzie and the welcoming party at home plate as the Royals lead by a pair of runs.
My heavens, Al, George Brett wasting no time, stepping into the batter's box. The first offering by Rich Gossage, a fastball, and George hit it into the 3rd deck for a 3-run home run.
Oh, incredible. He has a flair for the dramatic, and he has come through again. Royals leading 4-2 here in the 7th. George Brett with a monumental 3-run home run, cleaning the bases as you watch it again, and you knew it was heading out from the moment it hit the bat. Hal McRae at the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes. A stunned crowd here at Yankee Stadium in New York. Gossage roughed up by Brett. They thought that was a called strike 3, but it's 2-2. Well, the faster it comes in, the faster it goes out. And the velocity of Gossage meeting the velocity of George Brett's bat. And he changed directions on that ball rapidly.
Well, if George was impatient at the plate, that paid off because you can't afford to wait too long on Rich Gossage.
The 2-2 pitch to McRae, foul behind home plate. That'll make your heart skip about 5 beats. My Lord. Three runs in on the home run by Brett. 2-2 pitches up high, 3-2 the count to Hal McRae. Three-two pitch to McRae. Check swing. It's a bouncer, a roller. Tough play for Nettles. He has to hurry. Not in time. McRae safe over at first base.
Here's another look at it. Hal McRae gets jammed very badly. Hits the ball right above his right hand. Greg Nettles coming in. Makes the only play he can make. And the throw is in the dirt, pulling Bob Watson off the bag.
So the Royals are not through yet here in inning number 7. But the Yankees, it's like a studio audience right now. The Yankee Stadium crowd, except for sporadic hand clapping by about 5 people, is absolutely stunned.
George turned off the applause.
Otis at the plate fouls it away. Well, now it's a case of the Royals being able to get through those final 2 innings, and Denny Treese is going to be going down to the locker room very shortly if the Royals can maintain that lead. As history being made tonight, and you will be there.
We may have to get Denny some coveralls unless he wants to wear that nice suit down there.
Gonna have to dodge the bubbly.
Let's hope so.
The Royals 2 outs in their half of the 7th. Pitch to Otis. Swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. Still 6 more outs to go in terms of the Yankees. And looking ahead to their, check that, 9 more outs to go. Looking ahead to their half of the 7th. Bobby Brown. Then Willie Randolph and Bucky Dent. He's going. Throw down. Got it. Caught stealing. 2-6. That's all for the Royals here in the 7th. Well, we have 9 more outs to go in terms of the New York Yankees as the Kansas City Royals. There you see John Wathan in right field. Wathan, of course, came on replacing Clint Hurdle a short time ago offensively. The Kansas City Royals on that tremendous blast by George Brett. A playoff record 6th home run in the tours of duty that he's had in postseason play has put the Royals in front 4-2, but it is far from over. 3 more innings to go, and Quisenberry will shoulder the burden. The first pitch to Brown is in there for a strike. Bobby Brown, Willie Randolph, and Bucky Dent. And I don't think the Yankee Stadium crowd at this point has recovered. They are still stunned, and they are remarkably quiet here in the Yankees' half of the 7th inning. But it is not over yet. He's going to bunt. It's foul behind home plate, and the count goes 0-2 to Bobby Brown. You have to wonder also about the psychological effect on the New York Yankees. That was such a staggering home run, Steve.
Well, for them to take a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 6th and have that destroyed, especially against their number 1 man out of the bullpen, it has to be very disheartening.
Quisenberry with the edge on Brown. 0-2 the pitch. Reaches out and lofts it to shallow foul territory behind third base. And there's George Brett to put it away. 1 gone for the Yankees here in the 7th. So Bobby Brown fouls out to the third baseman. 1 out for the Yanks in inning number 7. On the top of the order up in Willie Randolph. Bucky Dent follows him.
Now Dan Quisenberry has to be thinking that if he can get 2 outs out of the next 3 hitters, he will not have to face Reggie Jackson as the potential tying run this inning.
The pitch in for a strike. 1-1. Well, any man that gets on brings the tying run potentially to the plate. Royals still have a thin lead. It's only 2 runs, 4-2 here in the 7th. The pitch high in the strike zone. 2-1 the count as it was over but high. Quisenberry. 2-1 delivery. Chopper hit to Brett. Cuts it off. Throws across the diamond in time. 5-3 on a put out of Willie Randolph. And the Yankees have 2 outs now in the 7th inning. Bucky Dent to the plate. Dent tonight is 0 for 3. He has bounced out to second. Grounded into a double play and flied out to center field. Pitch to Dent. In for a strike. Paul Splitoff going the first 5 and the third and doing a brilliant job for the Royals. How well he has pitched in all the playoffs for Kansas City. 1 strike delivery on the way. Tapper hit over the mound, charged by White. He fields by the bag, throws over to first base in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees in the 7th, and we go to the 8th with the Royals leading 4-2. High above Yankee Stadium in New York, a stunned Yankee Stadium, where amazingly enough, many of the fans have already started to turn and go to the exits as the Yankees and the Royals now on inning number 8 and the 3rd pitcher of the night for the New York Yankees, Tom Underwood, a left-hander. And that really tells you something when the top man out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees, Gossage, goes only 1 inning, of course is hit by the big home run by George Brett. Take him out the next inning. Gossage no longer in there, and Underwood replacing him. So Tom Underwood, who started the year in the bullpen, won 6 straight starts after being placed in the rotation, had about 26 starts and back to the bullpen again. Underwood is on. In the course of his starting stints, Underwood with a couple of 4-hit shutouts. Tom Underwood on the year for the New York Yankees, 13-9, a 3.66 ERA. He made 38 appearances all told. Tom Underwood picked up from the Toronto Blue Jays on now for the New York Yankees as their 3rd pitcher tonight. A reminder that should the Royals clinch the American League pennant tonight, and they have 2 more innings to go, we will be down in the locker room. Denny Treese will be down there to cover it all for you. Extended coverage. So if you have some friends who are, I don't know what they could be doing besides watching the ball game tonight, but that if they're not, you tell them to get in that living room and put it on, because we'll have extended coverage of the celebration in the locker room should it come tonight for the Kansas City Royals. So stay with us. Amos Otis, Willie Aikens, Darrell Porter for the Royals here in the 8th against Tom Underwood. The first pitch is high and away, ball 1. The Royals, their 4th American League Championship Series. Otis opens up as if the bunt takes ball 2. Kansas City, 4 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. The New York Yankees, 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. And again, the Yankee Stadium crowd stunned and sounding like an exhibition crowd. Line drive, base hit, center field for Amos Otis. And you can hear some of the Royals fans applauding in the background, and that is about it. Everybody else sitting on their hands, the New Yorkers, and there are a ton of them here tonight, 56,588. They are not doing very much noise making right now.
I'm sure, Al, that Amos Otis, along with many of the other Royals, glad to see Rich Gossage taken out. Amos had a couple of off-balance swings against Rich, and when Hal McRae was thrown out attempting to steal, gave Amos new life, this time against Underwood.
Now the Royals, they have really had some exciting baseball, exciting individual moments in this short 3-game series. And getting to Gossage and getting him out after 1 inning, that's a remarkable accomplishment. Underwood serves a strike to Willie Aikens. A reminder, due to the length of the night's game, Action 4 News, normally scheduled at this time, will be seen at the conclusion of the ball game. So stay tuned for news immediately following tonight's game. And I hope the folks back in Kansas City in the newsroom will excuse us if we keep it here just a little bit longer tonight. Royals hoping that you are watching history in the making this evening. 1-1 pitch to Aikens. Hit well to left field, but Piniella has the range on it. He's there and makes the grab. Otis retreats to first base. 1 gone for the Royals here in the 8th as Willie Aikens flies out to Lou Piniella in left field, and Darrell Porter will come to home plate. Porter tonight has walked, and he has flied out twice to Piniella in left. We had a rain delay in this game of 22 minutes. It came in the Royals half of the 4th inning. Rain before the game, but it is bone dry right now. At least looking up above, nothing falling right now. The field still thoroughly soaked, particularly in the outfield. Down low. 1-0, the count to Darrell Porter. Underwood sets. They got Otis leaning the wrong way. Throw to Watson, goes down to Dent, put the tag on him. 1-3-6 on the putout of Amos Otis, caught stealing.
Very unusual, Al. You will see Amos Otis picked off that badly, especially by a left-hander. But as we said yesterday, a great student of pitchers and their idiosyncrasies, this time misjudging and misreading Underwood's delivering. There you see the throw by Watson to Dent, caught stealing.
Otis with 8 straight successful stolen bases. First time in the playoffs he's ever been caught stealing. Curveball that misses. 2-0, the count to Darrell Porter. So the base is clean right now. 2 outs for the Royals in their half of the 8th. We'll look ahead to the Yankees half of the 8th in just a bit. Swing and a drive, hit deep, straightaway center field. But there is Brown. He has the range as the ball dies, and he makes the grab. Royals gone in their half of the 8th. Yankees have coming up Watson, Jackson, Gamble. We'll be back with the bottom of the 8th right after this. Tonight, the pitch. In there for a called strike 1. Larry McCoy calling the balls and strikes tonight. Watson 2 for 3 this evening. You know what Quisenberry is going to throw. The 1-strike pitch, tap foul behind home plate. And he has the edge on Watson 0-2. And there is Mr. October, who thus far had been pretty cold in the series. He had a couple of hits last night, but he was 0 for 4 the opening afternoon. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Jackson on deck. Watson at the plate. Leadoff man here in the 8th. Royals leading 4-2. 2-strike pitch to Watson. 1-2 the count. Ball split off, going the first 5 1/3, allowing 1 run. Quisenberry on in the 6th. He retired the side in order in the 7th. There's Jackson again. 1-2 delivery. Line drive hit to the gap in left center field. Could be trouble. Otis can't cut it off. It goes to the wall. 4:30 away. Watson going into second. Watson going to third. Here comes the relay. It won't be in time. Quisenberry backing up on the play as George Brett overthrown. A leadoff triple by Watson, and the Yankees aren't through yet.
As we said, Al, the Yankees are explosive. Here's Bob Watson picking on a low inside sinker by Dan Quisenberry, rifling in the gap to deepest left center field. By the time Amos Otis is able to pick it up, relay it to UL Washington, and then on toward third base over George Brett's head, Bob Watson is in with a triple.
Reggie Jackson at the plate as Watson tripling to the deepest part of the ballpark. Royals bullpen is quiet as Quisenberry on the mound with a man at third. Jackson at the plate. Maybe the best clutch hitter in all of baseball, along with George Brett. Twirling that bat like a pinwheel. He waits. Quisenberry sets the pitch to Jackson. Bounced foul. 1 strike to Jackson. Jackson tonight struck out twice against Splithorth. He doubled his last time up.
And Al, you know what's on Reggie Jackson's mind right now. The same thing that Dan Quisenberry is trying to prevent. A tie-inducing home run.
Jackson with 3 home runs in a row in the World Series. Swung on and fouled at the plate off of home plate umpire Larry McCoy. 0-2 the count to Reggie Jackson. Jackson, a money player as you look at Gamble on deck. The Royals have been fairly successful with him. 9 World Series home runs. 5 in the playoffs. Jackson behind in the count 0-2. Quisenberry has Watson over at third. 2-run lead for the Royals in the 8th. 2-strike pitch. Couldn't tempt him. 1-2 the count. Bob Watson at third base. Nobody out. Yankees half of the 8th. Royals 6 outs away from the World Series, but 6 very difficult outs. Jackson at the plate. Watson at third. The 1-2 pitch to Jackson. Low. Gets away momentarily, but Porter retrieves and Watson back to third. There's Charlie Lau, Greg Nettles. The Yankee dugout. Jackson, most valuable player in the '77 World Series. Game 6, 3 home runs, all in the first pitch. 5 home runs in that series, a record. Jackson, dramatic as always, at the plate. Inning number 8, Game 3, American League playoffs. Man at third. 2-2 pitch to Jackson. Just did miss, and Porter desperately wanted that call.
There are two very, very upset people, only 60 feet apart, Dan Quisenberry and Darrell Porter. They thought they had Reggie Jackson struck out. Here's another look at it. That's pretty close.
3-2 the count to Jackson, and the crowd now in unison rises in Yankee Stadium. Here in the 8th inning, and the game on the line right now. Watson at third. Royals leading by 2 runs, 4-2 in the 8th. Game number 3. Quisenberry on the mound. Jackson at the plate. The 3-2 pitch. He walked him. Quisenberry with his first walk of the night. That puts the tying run potentially over at first base and brings Oscar Gamble to the plate. There's Jim Fry going out to the mound. For the moment, his bullpen quiet. He has his ace, the fireman of the year, out there now. And now activity as wrestling goes about right now in the Royals bullpen.
Jim Fry going out to talk to Dan Quisenberry, Darrell Porter, and George Brett. Very unsettling to have a 2-2 pitch and a 3-2 pitch virtually in the identical spot and have both of them called balls when you thought at least one of them had to be a strike.
And amazing that Jackson, with a pitch that close, would take those pitches.
It is amazing. Many times a hitter the quality of Reggie Jackson will receive the benefit of the doubt from an umpire. Dan Quisenberry only in his 2nd year in the major leagues. Umpires will tell you that doesn't happen, but believe me, it's very difficult in an important game and an important situation to get Reggie Jackson called out on a strike.
Ken Brett, Rainey Martin throwing in the bullpen beyond the left field wall as the Royals break up their conference. Jackson over at first base. The Royals do have a double play potentially set up. Watson over at third. Oscar Gamble to the plate. Gamble, a single, his last time up. And again, the fans rising in Yankee Stadium, and a deafening roar in New York, in sharp contrast to the stillness after the Brett home run.
The Royals infield in the middle, Frank White, UL Washington playing for the double play. At the corners, George Brett, Willie Aikens will come to the plate on a ball hit to them.
So if it's hit up the middle, the Royals will give up the run for 2 outs. Tying run over at first base. Watson is over at third. Jackson at first. Gamble with great power at the plate. A low ball hitter. The pitch. Ball 1. The World Series so close, the Royals can taste it. It's only 6 outs away. But the Yankees with the potential right now with those 2 men on to tie up the ball game. 1-0 delivery. 2-0 the count to Gamble. Watson over at third. Jackson over at first. 2 men on, nobody out. Fry now nervous in the Royals dugout. Royals leading by 2 runs. Quisenberry sets. 2-0 delivery. Missed away. 3-0. Quisenberry has been in tight situations before, but nothing like this.
Dan's digging a hole for himself, and this pitch will either put him in deeper or start him on the way out.
He knows that if he walks Gamble, he puts the lead run on. 3-0 delivery, didn't get it. He walked him. The bases are loaded. So the Yankees with renewed life, staring into the grave of their season in the Royals' half of the 7th inning. After the 3-run home run by Brett put the Royals in front 4-2. Now they have the tying run in scoring position, the lead run on over at first base, the bases loaded, nobody out, Rick Cerone at the plate. Cerrone is struck out. He is flat out to center field, and he singled his last time up. Brett and Martin continue to throw in the bullpen beyond the left field wall. Royals set for 2 on the infield. Bases loaded. Watson, Jackson, Gamble, Cerrone at the plate. The first pitch, down low, ball 1. Watson, you saw Jackson earlier. Cerrone at the plate, Gamble over at first, bases filled. Third game, American League playoffs. 1-0 pitch to Cerrone. A strike, as the Yankees obviously are seeing if Quisenberry will dig his own grave.
Well, you have to in a situation like this. Out with nobody out. Here's a look at the pitch to Cerrone. He has walked 2 consecutive batters. You have to make him throw a strike.
Quisenberry on the mound. Cerrone at the plate. The bases filled. Yankees to the right, left, and behind of Quisenberry. 4-2 Royals in the 8th. 1-1 pitch. Line drive, speared by UL. Washington to second. Double play. They doubled up Jackson. The Royals, UL Washington, spearing that liner, and Frank White going to the bag to cover, and they double up Reggie Jackson here in the 8th.
Some kind of play here. You can see a line drive that UL Washington moves to his right to catch. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, makes one of the cardinal sins as far as base running mistakes.
Had it been a ground ball to third, George Brett, of course, would have gone for the force at home. Otherwise, on a ground ball to short or second, they would have gone for the doubled up. But the fact that the infield was playing back allowed UL Washington to spear that liner and turn the double play.
And that might have turned the game around and turned the playoffs around right there. Well, here you see Jim Spencer on deck as Lou Piniella, the scheduled hitter, but Spencer will hit for him. So the Yankees going to the bench over and over again. They brought in Gamble earlier. They brought in now Jim Spencer. Nettles came on earlier. The Yankees just throwing everything they have at the Royals, trailing by 2 runs. And Spencer very capable of tying up the ball game and putting the Yankees in front for that matter. Jim Spencer hitting here in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Watson over at third. Gamble over at first. Quisenberry on the mound. The Royals 4 outs away. Tying run potentially at first. Lead run potentially at the plate as Quisenberry sets. And the pitch to Spencer. Ball 1. Jim Spencer on the season, 236. 13 home runs, 43 RBIs. Long-time veteran player. Hitting here in Game 3 of the playoffs. 4 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the Royals. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Yanks. Quisenberry sets. 1-0 pitch. Bounding ball hit to White. He fields. He throws to Willie. And the 8th inning is over as the Royals will go to the 9th, leading 4-2. The end of that 8th inning has chased a lot more of the Yankee faithful out of Yankee Stadium as the crowd continues to thin out, as the Royals continue to draw closer to their first American League pennant and their first berth in the World Series. There's Joe LaFay, who is coming to play in left field for the New York Yankees. John Wathan at the plate takes a called strike 1 from Tom Underwood. Well, Tommy John came on, went as the starter, 6 2/3. That's inside. 1-1 to count to Wathan. Then Gossage came on with a man on in the 7th. Royals got an infield hit by UL Washington. Then the hit of the game. There's a ground ball by Wathan. It is hit to Watson. He goes to the bag, and 1 gone for the Royals here in the 9th. The hit of the game, the 3-run blast by George Brett. A staggering shot. And that is the difference right now. 4-2 Kansas City as the Royals hitting in the 9th. And Frank White at the plate.
Well, the Royals have got to hang on now if they want to go into their first World Series ever and stop it at a 3-game playoff series.
White waits. First pitch from Underwood. Curveball down low, ball 1. Well, now the question also remains, Who will the MVP be in the series? George Brett with that very crucial home run. White with a brilliant series, with the exception, of course, of the unfortunate error that was committed earlier in the game and almost opened the way to victory for the New York Yankees. But outside of that, what a job he has done in the 3 games.
He has been outstanding, Al.
A home run in 3 trips for Frank White tonight. White, 6 hits in 10 trips to the plate. 600. Gonna bunt up the third baseline. Fielding is Nettles. He throws in time. And livid over at first base is Frank White. And here comes Jim Fry out, as well he should. I think Haller consistently in the game tonight has called the plays before they've happened.
You may be right. Now here's another look at Frank White's bunt. And you can see the throw by Greg Nettles. An excellent play on Nettles' part. But it looks like Haller is in position to make a good call and did, as you say, call it a little bit early.
Haller has been going into his safe call or his out call split seconds or seconds before the play has actually occurred at the bag on several occasions tonight. We saw a man safe earlier tonight on the replay.
You're right, Al, and I think umpires too have a tendency, as ball players do, to get into a bad groove of making calls a little bit too soon. There you see it. Oh, that is bang bang.
That's a tie, and tie the base runner wins.
That's what I've always heard.
White is out, 5-3 on the putout. You have to laud Nettles for his effort. 2 gone for the Royals in the 9th. Looking ahead to the Yankees half of the 9th, it will be Nettles, Brown, and Randolph as the scheduled hitters. Pitch to Willie Wilson, swung on and missed. 1 strike to Will. So the Royals 3 outs away from their first World Series berth ever, leading 4-2 here in the 9th. Tom Underwood on the mound. Into his windup, and the 1-strike pitch fouled back. 2 strikes to Willie Wilson. And the Yankees, as brilliant a season as they have had, fighting off the Baltimore Orioles pulling into within a 1/2 game. Totally dominated by the Royals in this 3-game series in just about every department. 2-strike pitch. 1-2 the count to Willie Wilson. Were it not for some mistakes by the Royals, it would have been a lot more decisive than it has been.
Definitely, Al.
Willie Wilson waiting on the 1-2 pitch from Underwood. Inside. 2-2 the count.
Hello.
Underwood saying it's not over yet, pal.
That's right.
4 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error for the Royals. 2 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Yankees. Don't forget, should the Royals hang on and win tonight, extensive post-game coverage from the locker room from Denny Treese. 2-2 pitch to Wilson. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So we go to the bottom of the 9th with the Royals leading in Game 3 of the playoffs, 4-2. Al Wiskaloma, Denny Treese, and Steve Busby as the Kansas City Royals 3 outs away from their first American League pennant. And the New York Yankees have as their scheduled hitters this man, Greg Nettles, Bobby Brown, and Willie Randolph, and Dan Quisenberry, who staggered but did not fall in the 8th inning. Quisenberry has got to get 3 more outs to do it. 4-2, Kansas City. Bottom of the 9th, Yankee Stadium in New York. Nettles at the plate. Quisenberry on the mound. First pitch to Nettles. Ball 1.
The biggest inning that Dan Quisenberry has been involved with in his young pitching career. The biggest inning for the Kansas City Royals in their history.
Nettles at the plate. Great power. He waits. 1-0 pitch outside, and Quisenberry has suffered with his control the last couple of innings.
He's had an unusual problem for him, and that being control. Normally, Dan, that never defeats himself by the walk. If you're going to beat him, you have to hit what he throws.
The playoffs will change a lot of patterns. Quisenberry, 2-0 delivery. In for a strike. 2-1, the count to Greg Nettles. Yankee Stadium crowd, most of them giving up. Thinned out considerably. 2-1 delivery. High fly ball, playable, straightaway center field. Coming in, Amos Otis. He's there. He squeezes it. 1 away in the 9th. Nettles flies out to center field, and Amos Otis and the Royals are 2 outs away from the American League pennant. Bobby Brown at the plate here with 1 gone in the 9th. Don't forget, Denny Treese down in the locker room awaiting the post-game celebration should it come tonight. and the Royals are but 2 outs away. 4-2 Kansas City. Bottom of the ninth, game 3. They lead 2 victories to none. There is a strike.
I don't know about you, Al, but I'm getting pretty excited.
It has never happened before, though the Royals have tried their darndest to go to the World Series. 3 times they've not been able to. It might come on the 4th. High fly ball, playable. Shallow left field. Wilson is there, and the Yankees are down to their final out here in the 9th inning. The Royals right on the brink. The World Series is just 1 out away as Willie Randolph comes to the plate for the Yankees here in inning number 9. 4 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the Royals. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Yankees. Randolph at the plate. Tonight, he is 1 for 3. Quisenberry on the mound. The season for the Yankees, 1 out away from ending. Quisenberry rocks in motion. The pitch to Randolph is in for a strike. Randolph didn't like it. He turns to spray some words at Larry McCoy, as Dan Quisenberry got the strike call from McCoy. 2 gone for the Yankees here in the 9th. The Royals going in front on that towering blast into the 3rd deck in right field by George Brett. That was in the 7th. At that time, the Royals trailing 2-1. Quisenberry peers in for the sign from Porter. The 1-strike pitch. 1-1 to count to Willie Randolph. The Royals winning the first game by a score of 7-2. They won last night 3-2. They're trying to win this one 4-2. 1-1 pitch. 2-1 to count to Willie Randolph. Outfield fanned out, infield back with 2 outs, as the Royals 1 out away from going to the World Series. The 2-1 pitch to Randolph. Bounding ball hit foul. And the count goes to 2-2 to Willie Randolph, and the Yankees are down to their final strike. The Royals, 3 previous times, tried but couldn't get past the New York Yankees to the World Series, as the Yankees barred the way. 3 frustrating experiences now coming to an end. Just 1 strike away. 2-2 to count to Randolph. 2 outs. Royals leading 4-2. Last of the 9th. Yankee Stadium. Game number 3. 2-2 pitch. Up high. 3-2 the count to Randolph. Quisenberry, 33 saves during the regular season. 1 last night. Looking for another. Time called now as some debris coming out in the field. As somebody throwing what looks like a golf ball onto the field in left field. And Willie Wilson had to flip it out of the way. So the Royals now getting set to go. Quisenberry, 3-2 pitch. A call, strike 3. That's it. The Royals go to the World Series as they beat the New York Yankees 4-2 here in Yankee Stadium. The Royals pouring out onto the field. Leaping up and down, there's Leonard and Wartman and Gordy McKenzie and the whole crew on the field as the Kansas City Royals, for the first time, winners of the American League pennant.